Hey everyone, James here reporting for the Watford Way. And I have to say, I am feeling slightly downbeat at the moment after the Watford defeat away at Preston during the week. It wasn't quite what I was expecting, actually, for a number of reasons. I thought the team selection was interesting, certainly, with Kwadwo Bar starting up front and Imran Loser coming into midfield. It's a big game for both of them players. But yeah, ultimately Watford lost by 3-0. Osmajic for Preston scoring 2 of them goals. And I don't want to sit here and particularly make excuses for Watford's defeat, albeit that is exactly what I'm about to do. But Osmajic for Preston, as you guys may well know, during the previous game week against Blackburn Rovers, did a Luis Suarez and bit one of their players in the neck. He subsequently admitted to that charge, and the FA in the past few days have been investigating that. He subsequently has now picked up an 8-game suspension and a £15,000 fine. But because the investigation took 4, 5, 6 days to come to a conclusion, he ended up being available for selection against Watford. And what do Watford do? Well, of course, we let him score 2 goals. So that is one big frustration I have from this game, albeit, you can't blame Preston for playing him. If the player is available for selection and is one of your better attacking players, of course, Paul Heckingbottom, from their perspective, is going to pick him to start up front. And actually, I thought Osmajic run the Watford defence ragged. We really struggled to deal with him throughout the entirety of the game. He probably could have had a hat-trick or 4 goals at one point if it wasn't for Jonathan Bond making a couple of good saves and interceptions. And I just felt the whole Watford performance lacked energy, it lacked heart, it lacked desire, and most importantly, I felt sorry for the Watford fans who travelled all the way up to Deepdale on a Wednesday evening. If you don't know where Preston is in relation to Watford, it's a very, very long way away. It's about a 3.5 to 4.5 hour journey, depending on traffic. The coaches left Vicarage Road at 11:30 a.m. They got there at about 5 p.m. And of course they stayed for the match. And I think some Watford fans got home at about 4 or 5 a.m, which for me shows the dedication to the cause, of course, watching Watford home and away, spending lots and lots of money. And ultimately the players didn't perform. There was a couple of interesting changes, as I mentioned, with Kwadwo Bar starting up front as a 9 in that striker position, due to Daniel Jefferson having a slight injury. And then Imran Loser coming for Tom Dele-Bashiru in midfield, who, for me, I've kind of had enough of Imran Loser at Watford now. Now, this might be an overreaction to the game, and maybe it is, and maybe I still need to calm down somewhat. But I think Imran Loser has been at the club long enough, and he's been in the Championship long enough, most importantly, to prove he can be a quality player at this level. And don't get me wrong, we've seen very brief glimpses of Imran Loser being a brilliant player in the Championship on various occasions. But he's a player who should be a standout player in the division. He should be right up there as one of the best talents to watch. And quite frankly, for whatever reason, whether it's him not wanting to be here, whether it's him not being suited to the physicality of the division, he's just not cutting the mustard at the moment. So Imran Loser is a player who, sooner rather than later, I would look to move on. In regards to Kwadwo Bar, who again started up front in this game, I thought he did quite well. He got into the correct positions. It was just his finishing that let him down on this occasion. But yeah, I'd be more than happy to see Kwadwo Bar start up front again if Tom Cleverley deems that to be the correct option. I think for me, Daniel Jefferson is a player who we should persist with and try and get him into a good vein of form, because quite frankly, Daniel Jefferson hasn't really played many minutes at Watford so far this season. He's had 1 start and a couple of cameo appearances off the bench, which for me isn't enough to judge a striker, really. So hopefully Daniel Jefferson starts up front for Watford this weekend against Middlesbrough. And I think it's right we transition into the Middlesbrough game now. I'm not going to touch too much on Borough because you know their players, you know their manager. They are a quality side. I think for me, it's nice to see two English managers doing quite well at their respective clubs as well. Of course, both formerly on this occasion of Manchester United as well in Michael Carrick and Tom Cleverley. So I'm sure they'll both be pleased to see each other at the weekend. Let's touch on the Watford injury news going into this Middlesbrough game. And Tom Cleverley, as I record the video today here on Friday afternoon, has confirmed that both Daniel Jefferson and Tom Dele-Bashiru will be available for selection against Middlesbrough, which I think is fantastic news. I think Daniel Jefferson quite rightly deserves another chance to start up front for Watford. And the front three I'd love to see in this game, and obviously we have to rotate the squad because of the amount of games you've played as well, would be Jefferson, Chakvedadze and Rocco Batta. I think that front three for Watford, obviously Jefferson up front and the two behind in the 10s, would be really exciting to watch. I'd love to see Rocco Batta get some more championship minutes, and I do feel like he deserves them minutes as well. Chakvedadze, of course, is a must start whenever he's fit and available. And then Daniel Jefferson, Tom Cleverley has said was his number one striker target really in the summer to bring in. So obviously Tom Cleverley from his perspective, he wants to get Daniel Jefferson scoring goals. So I do think that is the front three we will hopefully see against Middlesbrough. I think we'll see Musa Sissoko and Tom Dele-Bashiru in midfield. Ryan Andrews will probably come in at right wing back. We may see Ken Sema at left wing back. And I think we may see Ryan Porteous come into defence as well, just to rotate that around as well. Daniel Bachmann, Tom Cleverley has confirmed, is nearing a return from injury, albeit this game may come too soon. So from a Watford perspective, I would expect to see Jonathan Bond in goal for one more match. In terms of the significance of the match and the result Watford have to achieve, I think it's no underestimation for me to say that Watford need a win or we need to not lose this game. I think that's the key thing for me. We need to go into the international break on a positive. Of course, you all know after the break we have that big derby game against Luton. It's Tom Cleverley versus Rob Edwards. It's Watford Luton. It's the Hornets versus the Hatters. It's a big game for both sides, and we want to go into that on a positive note. Now, that's not going to be easy. Middlesbrough themselves have had some fantastic results recently in the Championship, most notably in midweek beating West Bromwich Albion by 1-0 as well. So again, it's going to be up there as one of Watford's hardest tests this season. I just hope that we can come through it and not lose. Again, I want to reiterate that I don't mind drawing football matches. It's part and parcel of the game. I just think prior to Luton and for our mentality as a squad, it's really important, I think, that we keep a clean sheet because we've not seen one of them for quite some time. And it's important we don't lose. So I just want to reiterate them 2 points for you. Let me know who you would start in the starting 11 in the comments section down below. Moving on to my score prediction. I've got to be positive, of course, although I think I was a little bit naive going into the Preston game. If you watched my Preston preview, I went for a comfortable 3-0 victory. In hindsight, I was a bit bullish and a bit ambitious. Instead, Watford lost 3-0 at Deepdale. So this time, I'm going to be a bit more realistic, and I'm going to go with the same score we saw against Sunderland at Vicarage Road. I think Middlesbrough will get a goal, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 Watford victory and Daniel Jefferson to get his first goal for the Golden Boys. Let me know your prediction in the comments section down below. Looking further ahead to our content on the channel, we will of course do a post-Borough match reaction, hopefully from inside the stadium if I have the time, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. And then we're looking ahead to Derby Day after the international break. Please watch the match with me live here on the Watford Way. If you are not attending Kenilworth Road, I know the tickets are now fully sold out. They went on sale to Group A+ and A members a few days ago. Of course, they got snapped up very quickly. So if you are not attending the game, you can join me here live on the Watford Way for a watch along for that game at 12:30 on the 19th of October. So join me here for that. And yeah, other than that, I'm looking forward to the game. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye bye.